You're listening to the Daily Nugget at cnugget.com for April 24th. It's Paternal Wednesday. We're still without Jenn. Be praying for her. And today, it's Paternal Wednesday. It is story time with Sam, where she introduces characters. I'm Andy. Janelle is here, and she's going to try to perhaps pretend to be Jenn. That's why she's rocking back and forth.
Yes.
For our audio listeners.
Audio listeners, yes.
And awesome producer, Sam. You know, just a little peek behind the curtain. We record these 1 week at a time. And so sometimes I forget the things that we're calling back to. But I think at some point you had talked to a present you left for your parents.
Yes.
And now we're making good on that promise that Sam was going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we mentioned it during the episode or during the episode or between episodes.
Oh.
But either way, I did post a short version of it on my Instagram a while ago. I didn't realize that it was going to cut off after 1 minute. So you get a real cliffhanger.
That's almost better.
Yeah, it is almost better. I had a couple of people text me and they're like, so what happened? So, yeah, so it's Paternal Wednesday. So, and you know, when you are an adult, you still should honor your parents. And
it's in the Bible, right?
It's in the Bible.
It is in the Bible.
And because your parents honor you, and my parents have always been so gracious to me. And while they were out on vacation a couple months ago, my car needed to be looked at because it was making a lot of weird noises. So I took it in, and while they were gone, I sent my mom a text message a week in advance because I couldn't get my car in for a week or whatever. And she finally got back to me. She said, sure, you can borrow my car because, you know, I needed a car to get my kids to school and back, and my wife needed a car. So when I went there to pick it up that evening, I went up to my mom's condo where my mom and dad's condo where they live. And I had to go, I had the call of nature.
Okay. Which happens.
It happens.
No, no.
Janelle understands that. Janelle is in touch with nature too.
And I was just like, oh man, I really got to go to the bathroom. I don't think I'll make it home in time. And then it dawned on me, it was like, I'm in my parents' place. I'll just use the bathroom here.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
And everything looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
the smell will be gone by the time they get home.
Yes.
Because they're not going to be home for a few days.
Unless you go and drop a number 2 and all the water is off.
Oh.
So
Trouble.
I get in, I do my thing, clean up myself, and I turn
Good. Thank you for
the
specifying
toilet. I pushed the toilet handle down and nothing happened.
And then you just start jiggling it, right? Like,
and I was just like, what is wrong with it? If I do
it faster, something will happen.
Yeah. So I open the tank. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no water in there. My dad must have turned the toilet water off. So I go behind the toilet and then go to turn the water on. And the handle breaks off in my hand.
Oh, no.
This is a classic disaster.
And then I was just like, well, crap. Well, I'll just go get some water from a sink.
Right. Dump it in
the toilet and just do it that way. So, you know, I just finished my business. So I went to wash my hands, put some soap on my hands, get it all going, turn on the faucet, and no water comes out.
This is turning into this feels like almost like if you watched a movie and this was some comedic scene, you'd be like, this would never actually happen.
It was like Mr. Bean. And so I'm like, oh crap. Well, maybe the whole bathroom is off. So I look under the thing. I was like, turn the things on. I was like, nothing's coming on. So I was just like, well, I'll just go get some water from the kitchen. I get to the kitchen and no water. I had realized at that moment that my dad had turned all the water off, and I did not know where to turn it back on.
Oh dear!
So the present that I left for my parents in the bathroom, I kind of panicked, And I said, well,
what do you do now?
what do I do now? So I
What did you do, Sam?
my dad dropped me off, and I went and borrowed my mom's car. I found a towel to wipe my hands off, all the soap off my hands, because I at one point I did grab the knob, and my hands were so slippery. I was like, oh no, that's right. And so I just leave.
Right.
And I think,
what do you do? There's nothing else you can do.
I'm just like, my parents are coming back in 3 days. It's gonna smell real bad. Luckily, I found an empty gallon jug, milk jug, and I brought my parents' car back, and it was enough water to flush.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that was a big moment of panic for me, because I thought, oh boy, what a moment that I have created for myself here. And of course, I took to social media to announce it, because I have nothing better to do with my life.
How'd that work out for you?
It worked out fine.
Did you find your community of support, Sam?
Me too.
Oh, I found my friends hilarious. But man, I mean,
But okay, so what happened with the part that you broke?
Oh yeah, so after my dad got home, and I was just like, my parents got home on I would think it was like Sunday or Monday, and I called my mom, super sheepish, and was like, "Hey mom, so just to let you know, I tried to turn the water on behind the toilet, and I broke the knob off." And she goes, "Oh, your father hasn't found it yet. Otherwise, I would have heard about it." And oddly enough, my dad watches the show. So
really?
Hi, Sam's dad.
And I just felt so bad, because I thought I had busted the entire plumbing. I'm not a handy person.
No. So did they ever explain why? Okay, so your parents live, it's not like they live in an old house.
No, they live in a condo.
I can understand if you've left and you're turning off the water because you've left it and you're in a house that's old, and we live in Minnesota, and the pipes could freeze. But they're in a newer condo.
Yep, they are. My dad likes to be prepared.
For what?
Apparently,
I don't blame him. But yeah, I had no idea that was coming.
Apparently, he didn't prepare for every possibility.
Good point, Andy.
Son coming up and dropping a deuce in his toilet. And
I'm just saying.
Not knowing what's happening.
I'm just saying. Expect the unexpected.
Oh, and I am the unexpected.
That's the name of the title or the show, and that's the Nugget. There you go. That's the title. Boom. NuggetHateMail@gmail.com if you've had escapade like Sam's.
Have you ever done anything as an adult?
I did something. I had a horrible bathroom experience when I was an early teenager.
Oh boy.
I can't.
Save it for another day, Andy.
Yep.
Save it.